Now, because this passive keyless entry immobilizer system has been designed to be controlled from your smartphone, it definitely makes this device incredibly convenient to use. And this is because you always have your phone on you at all times, so there is never anything you need to physically do. Because as soon as you start walking away from the car with your smartphone, the immobilizer automatically turns itself on. Now, there are other ways you can control your car's immobilizer as well, of course, such as manually by using the app. But this immobilizer device has more to offer than just that. So in today's video, I'm going to show you everything this immobilizer device can do to keep your car more safe and secure. Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, hello and welcome to the channel, and I hope you like today's video. If you like smart home and automotive technology content, then hit that subscribe button because that's what you're going to see on this channel. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing and installing another car immobilizer device, and it's a really good one as well. This is another passive keyless entry style of car immobilizer, but unlike the other ones I have reviewed and tested in the past, this one is pretty much solely controlled using your smartphone. Yes, as the followers of this channel will know, I have reviewed plenty of passive keyless entry car alarm systems before that you can also control using your phone, but never a passive keyless entry standalone immobilizer system that can also be controlled using your phone. Most of the passive keyless entry immobilizer systems are only supplied with a passive keyless entry remote control that you have to keep on you at all times to engage and disengage the immobilizer. They do not support phone control at all. But this one does, and after testing it, I am not only really impressed with its incredibly stable Bluetooth connection with my phone, but also the reliability and overall design of this device as well. So full credit to the designers of this immobilizer device, because it is very well built and works exceptionally well. And those designers in this case would be NTO. You may have heard of NTO before, especially if you work in the car security field, because this company is well known for their car security products. This passive keyless entry immobilizer system is a 12-volt system, so it will work on all cars, motorcycles and more. And the enclosure itself has also been designed with a waterproof gasket around the circuit board as well, to keep it as waterproof as possible. And this is especially important for all you motorcycle owners. It supports Android and iOS, and to use it with your phone, all you need to do is download the Go app. The built-in onboard relay is rated at 12 volts at 25 amps, and the relay contacts when the device is not powered up are in a normally closed position. And that's exactly how all car immobilizer systems should be designed. You definitely do not want to design the device like this, with the relay contacts being open when it's not powered up. That would not be a good design structure at all. This device is advertised to have a range of 2 meters, and after testing it, that would be about right when approaching the device with your phone. But when walking away from the device, the distance in which the immobilizer engages again is considerably longer than that. And that's another good design feature though, because this prevents false triggers. Now this is a Bluetooth device, so it operates on a frequency of 2.4 gigahertz. It has also been designed to be used as an anti-hijacking immobilizer device, and that's important to keep in mind, as I will explain shortly. Another great design feature when using this device with your phone is that the app does not need to be open or running in the background to use it. This straight away tells me how professionally this device and the app itself has been built, because believe me, there are a lot of passive keyless entry car alarm systems that do not perform well in this area, and they all should and obviously need to. So be careful when buying PKE car security devices, guys, because there are a lot of bad quality design products out there. But this NTO PKE Immobilizer device is definitely not one of them. Now, as I said before, a lot of passive keyless entry car immobilizer systems can only be controlled using the passive keyless entry remote control that they are supplied with. And guess what? So can this one, because it also comes supplied with a remote control as well. However, this is not a passive keyless entry remote control at all. It is simply just a RF remote control that operates on 433 megahertz, and it just powers up off a 3-volt CR2032 battery. So yes, this remote control has no passive keyless entry functionality whatsoever. For the passive keyless entry features of this device to work, you must use your phone. If you do prefer to use the remote control, the app itself, as you can see, also has remote control functionality built into it as well, which will allow you to control the immobilizer, technically speaking again by remote, but from your phone over a Bluetooth connection instead. And it works very well. So you don't need to use this physical remote control at all if you don't want to. So how does this passive keyless entry immobilizer system work then? Okay, so when you walk away from the car with your phone in your pocket or bag, when you are a few meters away, you will hear the device beep one time to tell you the immobilizer system is now engaged. Now, if someone comes along, breaks into your car and turns the ignition on, after about 10 seconds, the device will start beeping. Then after another 10 seconds, the relay contacts inside the device will open, now of course immobilizing your car. Now that the device has detected a theft attempt, the relay contacts will stay open permanently and the buzzer will not stop beeping until you return to the car with your phone or the remote control and simply just press the button on the remote control. Because of the loud and constant beeping of this device, this will hopefully also scare away the car thief as well. Because yes, this buzzer is quite loud and it's very persistent. Now, because of the way this immobilizer system has been designed, which is as an anti-hijacking device, you of course would not want to use it to immobilize the starter motor of your car. It should only be used to immobilize the oil pump, fuel pump, or the ignition. And this is because any passive keyless entry immobilizer system is designed with a built-in delay before the vehicle is actually immobilized. This delay before the device will immobilize the vehicle is designed this way for safety. If the car was being driven and the device immobilized the car immediately, this of course could cause a serious accident to not only the car thief, but also to anyone else, including your car itself. Now, if you're unsure about anything I've explained so far, I'll explain it again. So as I've said, this immobilizer device has been designed as an anti-hijacking device. So what that means is, if someone hijacks your car while you're in it and kicks you out and then drives off, the car is eventually going to cut out on them after the safety time period delay expires. Yes, even if the car is being driven. But anyway, this 20-second delay can actually also turn into a 60-second delay as well, as this immobilizer system is also designed to work in other ways as well. But I will demonstrate all of this to you later on. So what about other features? Does this immobilizer have any other important features? Well, yes, it does also support the power memory feature as well, which is a great security feature, because how this works is the device remembers its last powered status. So for example, if the immobilizer is engaged and the car thief decides that if they disconnect the car battery, it will hopefully disengage the immobilizer for them as well. Well, it won't, because this device is too intelligent for that. And when power is reapplied again, it will automatically go back into engage mode immediately. And that's exactly what the power memory feature is designed to do. Okay, now it's time to get this device installed so you can actually see it working. So if you're still watching but are still feeling confused about everything, then don't worry, because everything is about to start making a lot more sense soon. The installation is actually also a pretty easy job to do as well, providing you have a bit of car electrical knowledge and experience, of course, because there's only 5 wires to connect. So with that being said, let's go down to the garage and get this device installed. Okay, so the installation process is going to be different for everyone, because every car is different, and of course the way you plan to immobilize the vehicle is also completely up to the individual. Now, as I have said, immobilizing the starter motor is not the right choice to make when wiring up an anti-hijacking device like this. And that is because this device has a significant delay before it actually immobilizes the vehicle. So therefore, it's not going to work with the starter motor. So that leaves us with the other 3 options: fuel pump, oil pump, or ignition. For this installation, I have chosen to go with the fuel pump, mainly because I have other immobilizer devices installed on this car as well, which are immobilizing other points on the car, and also because this time I have decided to wire everything up under the bonnet at the fuse box, which on this car is also where the fuel pump relay is located. I will need to extend the wires of the valet switch though, as they are not going to be long enough, as the valet switch needs to be mounted inside the car for full functionality of this immobilizer device, as I will show you later on. So to immobilize the fuel pump of the car, we need to cut the wire coming from the engine ECU to the fuel pump relay and connect these 2 green wires of the immobilizer device to that wire that has now been cut. For this particular device, it is not important which way around you put these 2 green wires, but for some other PKE Immobilizer devices, it does. So be aware of this if you're not using this particular device, because if wired up the wrong way around, it will not work. Now, if you're a professional installer watching this, you may be sitting there thinking, no, don't immobilize the fuel pump, because on the later model cars, that will definitely cause a problem with the car. But that is actually not true. Yes, if you try to start the car with the immobilizer engaged, it will surely bring on the engine check light, but that's not a problem with the car. That is just the car detecting that the fuel pump is not working at that time. It does not create any problem or cause any damage to the car. So apart from having to reset the engine check light, which you will only need to do if your car gets stolen, there is absolutely no problem immobilizing the car in this way. Now, of course, if you don't know what you're doing with your car's electrical system, and you're not confident, and you don't have your own diagnostic equipment, then I would highly recommend you get help from a professional to do this installation for you. Now, I've said to cut the wire that goes from the ECU to the fuel pump relay. So this is the wire the ECU uses to turn the fuel pump relay on. But why can't you just cut the main power wire of the relay itself that is going to the fuel pump? Well, I never recommend installing an immobilizer on the main power feed wires at all, and this is due to the high current draw. Yes, it will still work, but to ensure a long life of the built-in relay contacts of the relay inside this device, I would not recommend it. As I said, this relay is rated at 25 amps at 12 volts. The high pressure fuel pumps that are used on some vehicles can draw huge current, this limiting the life of small size relays in a very short period of time. I know a lot of cases where professional installers have immobilized the main power feed wires, and this always eventually results in relay contact failure at some stage. You don't want the immobilizer relay to fail on you, and I don't want it to fail on me either, because this is only going to cause us unwanted problems at some stage in the future. Now, the other advantage of installing everything at the fuse box is you are easily also going to be able to find power to power the device up as well. So for this device, there are 3 wires to connect. The red wire goes to constant positive 12 volts, the white wire goes to switch 12 volts ignition, and the black wire goes to ground. And you can find all these wires very easily using your multimeter. After that's all done, all I need to do is mount the device somewhere secure and out of sight. And then, in my case, extend the Valet switch wires as well, so I can mount it inside the car. So I'm going to do all of this now, and then I'll mount the Valet switch, and then we will be ready to test the device out. By the way, there is no external buzzer to mount because it's built onto the circuit board inside the device itself. Now, of course, mounting the device itself inside the car would be better, as the buzzer is also a good deterrent for car thieves, and it is quite loud. But in my case, I'm not concerned about that, as I do have other security devices installed onto my car already anyway. Okay, and as you can see, I have now finished wiring up the device. So I've got the fuel pump wire cut and immobilized, as well as connected the device to power, ground and ignition. Now, I have actually decided not to run the Valet switch inside the car at all, and for several reasons. Being one, I don't actually want to use the Valet switch at all, and I don't think I'm going to need to use it either. And two, with everything wired up and hidden in the fuse box, I actually like how everything is out of sight from the eyes of thieves. So therefore, I don't want to have 2 non-factory looking wires running along the back of the engine bay, as that draws attention to car thieves. So for now, I'm going to just mount the Valet switch inside the fuse box with everything else. One more thing I will point out though is don't forget to install a fuse holder onto the device, onto the power wire, as it does not come with one. And even car immobilizers and alarms need fuses as well. Okay, so I'm now going to put the car back together again, and then I can show you how this device works. Alright, so after reading the operation manual again, it turns out that the Valet switch is actually mandatory if you want the anti-hijacking feature to work, and I do. So I have had to also mount a Valet switch, which I've mounted just under here, under the steering column shroud. It's also very important to remember that the Valet switch needs to be mounted in a place that is not only hidden, but also very easy for you to get access to in an emergency. And when I say in an emergency, I mean if someone is trying to steal your car from you with you in it. And you're going to see why in a few moments. So I have now just finished testing out everything, and it's working perfectly. So this is how the immobilizer device works once installed. Okay, so this immobilizer device works much like a car alarm in regards to the way it lets you know if the immobilizer is engaged or disengaged. And it does this by sounding an audible confirmation beep. So when you hear one beep, that means the immobilizer is engaged. And when you hear 2 beeps, it means the immobilizer is disengaged. So there are 3 ways to engage the immobilizer, and those are: 1. Once you turn the car off and grab your phone, and then walk away from the car with your phone, as you heard the immobilizer just beeped, so that means the immobilizer is now engaged. 2. Turn off the car, grab your remote control, walk away from the car and press the button one time, and the car is now immobilized. And 3, you can of course also just use the built-in remote functionality of the app and tap on the lock button, and the car is now immobilized. By the way, technically speaking, there are actually 4 ways to engage the immobilizer, because if you're using the remote control, after turning the car off, you don't actually need to manually engage the immobilizer at all, because this device is also designed to automatically engage the immobilizer 10 seconds after the car has been turned off. However, if you're within a 2-meter range of the car and you still have your phone in your pocket, the immobilizer will not engage until you walk away from the car with your phone. One more important thing to remember though is if the engine is running, the car will not shut down if you walk away from it with your phone or by pressing the button on the remote. Once the car has started, it cannot be shut down without having to turn the ignition off first or by pressing the valet switch, which in an emergency will enable the anti-hijacking mode, as I'll show you in a few moments. Now to disengage your immobilizer, you basically have the same 3 options again. So option 1, just walk up to your car with your phone. The immobilizer will beep twice, and the immobilizer is now disengaged. And by the way, as I said before, you don't need the app running in the background or the app to be open on your phone for this device to work. Option 2, just walk up to your car with the remote control, press the button on the remote control one time, the immobilizer will beep twice, and the immobilizer has now been turned off. Or option 3, just tapping on the unlock button on the remote in the app will also turn the immobilizer off. So as I said before earlier on in the video, you don't actually need to use the remote control at all. I personally never use it. I just use my phone to control the immobilizer device by itself. Now how does the anti-hijacking mode work? Okay, first of all, as I said before, remember the remote will not work when the ignition is on, and neither will the remote features of the app. And walking away from the car with your phone when the engine is running will not immobilize the car either. The anti-hijacking feature of this particular system has not been designed that way, and the reason for that is, again, safety. Yes, there are PKE anti-hijacking immobilizer systems available that will immobilize the car with the engine running if you're on the way from the car with the PKE remote in your pocket, but this is not one of them. If you really want that feature, then check out the VJoy Car PKE Immobilizer review on this channel, because that device does shut down the car if you run away from it when the engine is running, but it does not support phone control. So to use the anti-hijacking feature of this NTO device, you have 2 options. Option 1, if the car is running and someone has a knife or gun to your head, quickly press the valet switch one time and get out of the car and run away. The immobilizer will beep one time when you press it, and the car will then be shut down in approximately 60 seconds. It does not matter if the car thief drives off in your car. The car will still shut down within 60 seconds from the time you press the valet switch. So the car thief is not going to get very far in your car before abandoning it somewhere on the side of the road and fleeing it before the police arrive, because the car will not start again, no matter how hard they try. Then there's option 2, and this one is the easiest option, but it will only work providing the ignition of the car is turned off. So if you're sitting in your car with the engine running and a thief tries to pull you out of the car, all you need to do is turn off the car and run away. The immobilizer will be engaged in 10 seconds from the time the ignition is switched off. If you want to engage it faster, just press the unlock button of the remote control and the car will be immobilized immediately. This immobilizer device can of course also, like other car alarms and immobilizer systems, be overridden in an emergency. For example, if your phone battery dies or you lose the remote control. But for security reasons, I'm not going to demonstrate how that works in this video. You can of course just find the procedure for that in the operation manual. Okay guys, so that is how this PKE anti-hijacking immobilizer device from NTO works. Now I will just comment on a few more things before ending the video. Firstly, starting with the password for the app. As you can see up here, it says modify Bluetooth password. Now it's incredibly important that you change that password before using this system. In fact, you won't have a choice anyway, because the app actually has a safety feature built into it, which won't allow you to be able to use the device with your phone until you do change the password. This is a very good design feature as well, because if the password was not changed, it would mean anyone could download this app and turn off the immobilizer to your car and anyone else's car using the same device, and that would not be good. And of course, don't change the password to something simple that is easy to guess, such as 123456. A lot of people do use easy to remember passwords, and clever car thieves know this. By the way, also as you can see down here in the app, the Bluetooth detection range between your phone and the device itself is also adjustable. So if you find the engagement and disengagement of the Immobilizer is too sensitive, you can use this feature to adjust it. Secondly, you might be wondering what a device like this costs. Okay, so at the time of this review, the device itself was around 70 New Zealand dollars. Yes, there are cheaper PKE Immobilizer devices available, and there are also more expensive ones available as well. But remember, as I said at the beginning of the video, there are a lot of bad quality PKE systems around that are unreliable and do not work well. And this NTO device is one of the good ones. Of course, it also supports phone control as well, which is a huge convenience, and a lot of the others don't. So for the features that you get combined with the stable reliability of the device, I think this Immobilizer is very fairly priced. And lastly, in the app, you may have also noticed these other three buttons as well on the remote. And so you might be wondering what the functionality of those are for. Well, for this particular device, when you tap on them, they don't actually do anything. But this app is most likely used with other NTO products as well, so they will surely have some type of functionality when used with those NTO devices. Anyway guys, I think I have now covered everything you need to know about how this device works. And so I'm going to end the video here. And thank you so much for watching. I will leave a link to where you can purchase this passive keyless entry Immobilizer device from in the description below for anyone who is interested. If you like this video or found it helpful, then please like, share, comment and subscribe to the channel where you can watch even more videos which I upload every week. And I hope to see you all in the next video.